Alright guys, it's been a while since my last upload and I wanted to provide a little bit of feedback on how I've enjoyed the Buell. So I pretty much ride it 4 times a week roughly, going to the gym and back, running little errands here and there. And the bike is an absolute blast. I really would recommend it to anyone who's considering getting an XB, whether it's an XB9 or an XB12R. I've really enjoyed it. The maintenance has been super easy. I did an oil change obviously when we started this thing for the first time. And after I did a break-in period, I did another oil change. Everything looked great. And now the bike just absolutely hauls. I love it. I was actually detailing the bike today, and I was using some WD-40 around the wheel areas, and I noticed that the color started to change as I polished the wheels, and it looks like the previous owner or the owner before him plasti-dipped the wheels, front and the back. And I noticed that the rear wheel is sort of this silver color, and it looks like they painted over the gold anodized that was there before, and then they plasti-dipped over the silver. So I don't know what's going on with that. And I believe the front rim still has that gold anodized underneath. So I want to make them match, and I don't want it to be plasti-dipped. So I think I'm gonna actually pull the wheels off and either paint them or powder coat them, and it'll be a much more permanent solution, and I think it'll look great. So let's start pulling the wheels off. Alright, so for those of you that were lucky enough to get a Buell Tool Kit with your Buell, whether you bought it new or used, want to go over some of the tools in here that you might find useful and that we're going to have to use in order to get the wheels off. So this tool is actually used to adjust the shock, and this would have been great had I known I had this when I was adjusting the shock before. So that's good. Looks like we've got just a regular Allen tool there, Allen key tool. We've got some spare hardware. Don't think that came with the toolkit originally. I've been told that this is actually used as a helmet lock, like it can go underneath the seat and you can lock your helmet on it. Personally, I probably won't use this, but I don't know, we'll see if I decide to at some point. And then there is this tool. It's basically 2 halves of a nut and a circlip kind of in the middle here, and the purpose of the circlip is you install this into where the axle is. Now you can put a wrench on the end of this thing to twist the axle and get it out. So we're going to be using this tool today, and I'm going to try to find the jack point under the exhaust, and I think we'll be able to raise the bike up and get both wheels off, and then we'll decide whether we're going to powder coat, paint, and what color we're going to go with. So here is the aftermath of pulling the rear wheel. It was super easy, only took a few minutes, and this is how that tool fit right into the axle. Basically that circlip stops it from falling into the axle, and then you can put your wrench right on that and go. This axle is absolutely disgusting, so I will probably clean it, and I'm debating whether or not to change the belt. I also might do the wheel bearings as well while I've got it off. And yeah, so now I got to figure out the best way to jack up the bike to get the front wheel off. And there's a jack point right here. I don't know if you can see it, but this little arrow serves as the jack point. I think it even says jack point down there. But yeah, so also removing this to get rid of some of the tension on the belt also helps, so you can roll the wheel forward and then pull it out. And of course you gotta pull the rear calipers off, and I had, or single caliper anyway. I had forgotten to do that while I was trying to pull the wheel out, so 2 bolts and it pops right out, no big deal. So let's see if I can figure out a way to jack up the front and then get the front wheel off. Alright guys, so that was really a lot easier than I expected. Technically I'm not using the correct jack point, but I'm distributing the load to the front forks as well, so it's not entirely being taken up by those blocks. And I've also got some support here in the rear. Obviously we don't have either of the wheels on. So if we work our way over here to the wheels, you can see it looks like these things were painted. And there's the gold anodized that was the stock color of these wheels. So I'm going to get some quotes and see how much it'll be to powder coat these things, and if it's reasonable, then I'll drop them off for powder coating, and I will order some new wheel bearings because they're going to have to bake the wheels, and there's no reason to use the same wheel bearings, especially when they're already out and exposed like this. It's a wear item, so we might as well change them. And I'm considering changing the belt too, but the bike only has 14,000 miles on it, so I really think that the belt will be fine as is. I mean, I don't see any excessive wear. And really that's it. I didn't really plan to do this initially, but since I was polishing the wheels up and this happened, I figured, you know what, why not? So I'll give you all some feedback as to how much it's going to cost to powder coat these. And if it's, you know, just some crazy astronomical price, I'm not a bad painter myself, and I may just do a garage paint job. So stay tuned, and we'll see how it goes. So we've got a bit of a plot twist here. I thought this was the gold anodized down below, but if I scratch it with my nail here, you can see it's actually on top of the gray paint, which tells me that I would guess this is probably a wheel from another bike, and the previous owner, you can see the gold anodized from the stock XB12R. He probably had mismatched wheel colors, and so he just plasti dipped both of them to be black so they match. So I think I'm definitely going to strip the paint on both, and I really want to bring back this orange color. So if that means I got to get a paint that'll be as close to that as possible, I'd really like to match the Buell letters over here. I think bringing it back to as close to stock as possible would be cool. So I think that's going to be my plan. So wish me luck on the quotes tomorrow. And thank you for subscribing. Big shout out to everybody, because when I started this channel, I believe I had about 15 subscribers. And as of today, we're up to 61. So if you enjoy the content, please turn on your notifications and subscribe. After I get this thing completely finished, I do want to start a new project, so in the comments below, give me some ideas. I've been looking at Ducatis, some scrambler projects, and some other sport bikes that I think you guys might find interesting. So thanks for all the support, and stay tuned for more cool stuff.